special guest on our show. He's one of the founding fathers of the hemp movement. He's author of the book, The Emperor Wears No Clothes, which has been considered the Bible of the hemp movement, doing everything he can to make this wonderful plant legal. Jack Herer.
And one day she came home with some Acapulco Gold,
yeah.
And she said, I want you to keep smoking these. And I got very stoned, and she put earphones on me, and I heard music in color. And I said, wow, this is the best I've ever felt in my life, and it's illegal. And then a couple of years later, a friend of mine over a little potty had told me we had written on the back of a paper bag a 1 to 10 scale, and then we had written the delineation, a 1 to 10 scale on how good pot was, so that,
oh yeah.
And so then pretty soon, we delineated to buzz, mild high, very high, mild stoned, very stoned, and stoned. Right. And so what happened at that point was that the government picked up the book that I had written with Al Emanuel and had made it its world standard for some thousands and thousands for ongoing clinical studies.
Now, is that when you first began your research?
Well, yeah, I started writing for them, and they told me things like, how could you not research when you find out this? I was 30, maybe 33 at this time. That canvas was the Dutch pronunciation of cannabis. That canvas sales, like in old Ironsides and all through the last century, that the word canvas meant cannabis, and canvas sales were cannabis sales. And canvas covered wagons that went west were cannabis covered wagons. Wow, what a trip. That this plant could make all the paper, fiber, fuel to make the food and protein for the whole earth, that it would be the #1 food to feed the earth's people and the earth's animals if it wasn't illegal. So I found out by 1973 and 4, when I found this information, that our politicians, probably through complete ignorance, had made the whole system, all of our education, so ignorant that we had become lemmings. We were killing ourselves. The #1 plant for paper, fiber, and fuel from the natural cycle had been outlawed, that somehow the synthetic cycle had won, when the #1 thing in the natural cycle could outproduce it and completely clean up the atmosphere.
And I'm also confident you've come across reliable resources. Where have you found what are your statistics to back up all the wonderful things that you're spouting out?
Well, all of them come from the Department of Agriculture.
Okay, now once you realized all this, and you started putting the parts together, this puzzle, and you got this whole picture, right?
Yeah.
What was your first impression, dude? I mean, what did you feel? Anger, rage, enthusiasm,
quiet,
shock?
I wondered how a people could outlaw a natural thing. And I was one of the people that probably thought it was okay before I started smoking pot, so I wondered why I did it. And I realized I was ignorant, that they didn't teach us this in school. You can't get mad at ignorance, you can just get mad at the situation that creates ignorance, in this case, the law. What kind of idiot would make somebody else be a lemming for some stupid law that politicians in their ignorance must have made up, because if they knew it, they'd be criminal and working for pharmaceutical companies.